Hello and welcome to Drive for a Monday afternoon. This afternoon we're being unashamedly parochial.
We're bound for South Australia. Heave away, rule like kings. Heave away, haul away. Heave away, or hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
We want to know what you love about South Australia. A new website is up and running. Love to know how much you love South Australia. Do you reckon we blow our own horn enough, so to speak, or do you think we're still a bit undiscovered? Maybe you like it like that. 1300 222 891, or you can send a text 0467 922 891. Mark has already sent us a text saying Kangaroo Island Beach and white sand. You've got it all to yourself. When you're at the western end of Kangaroo Island, you feel like you're on the edge of the world. What do you love about South Australia? 1300 222 891, because a new website has been launched to encourage all of us to share what it is about our state that makes it so special. It's called ilovesouthaustralia.com.au. Easy to remember, isn't it? It's not a government or tourism initiative either, but it's been set up by a man who emigrated here from India and loves the place so much he wants to tell the world about it. PK Gupta, welcome to Drive.
Oh, hi, Michael. Thank you for that plug.
It's lovely to have you here. Tell us how you first heard of South Australia and how you came to move here.
Well, I was back in India and I decided I'd come and study in Australia. And I started looking through the Lonely Planet Guide to see, what each state had to say about themselves. And the chapter on South Australia was riveting, and I made a decision I would come to South Australia. And, yeah, it was quite a journey. Landed here, didn't know anyone, and everything that the Lonely Planet Guide said about the people here is true. So that's how I came to be here.
So it obviously lived up to expectations, and you're still here 20-plus years on, settled with a family.
Yes, indeed. And look, that's the main point, I suppose, I'm trying to make here. It's about the people. I've been fortunate enough to travel to every state in Australia now, and I can say that we are a great bunch of people in South Australia. It's the people who make the place the way it is. You can build monuments, you can do anything, but if you don't have the right bunch of people, then it means nothing. So I think South Australians should be proud of that. And the whole idea of setting up the website is, hey, I want to shout from the rooftop, say to everyone, I love South Australia. I chose to come here. I didn't know anything about it. I read about it. I took a punt. And I love the place because the people here are lovely. And then, of course, we've got all the other things we talk about, the wines, the beaches, and the food. But it's the people. And we should be proud of it, and we should talk about it, and we should tell everyone. Because if we don't, no one else will.
Just looking at some of the comments that you've already received on the website, there are a lot of them are about the people, saying the people are so friendly in South Australia that I could never think of calling anywhere else home. I love the feeling of South Australia because it feels like a big country town. People are warm and there's so much to see. And then a lot talk about the beautiful beaches, the wine regions, lots to do, and lots of friendly people right across the state. It must be quite heartening when people give you this sort of feedback.
Absolutely. Look, it reinforces something, especially a lot of migrants would relate to this. In fact, something I can share if people don't know, but Australia has about 30% of Australia's population is born overseas. So when you do come here, initially, like even now in South Australia, we've got people who've started in the police force who've just come from the UK. So when you come to a new place, the place itself can be beautiful, but it's the people. You need to set up that network, find friends, make friends, just get along with the neighbors, get to know people. And once that starts happening, what happens then is that suddenly this place, from being a place, turns into your home. And that's what is the key thing, I suppose.
If you'd like to join this conversation this afternoon, 1300 222 891. We're talking to PK Gupta, who's made this website, ilovesouthaustralia.com.au. Getting a lot of feedback on our text line already, which is 0467 922 891. Gail says, I love the red dirt and the blue bush north of Port Augusta. Marty says, in many aspects, we're leading the world in sustainability. And Paul says, I love scuba diving down in the southeast for a feed of crayfish. 1300 222 891. So, PK, who are you hoping will read this and learn about South Australia?
First of all, I'm hoping it's the South Aussies who are going to read and take this on board. If we, like you said yourself, if we blow our own trumpet unashamedly, hey, that's excellent. Because you know what? I go to Perth for my travel, and I find Perth talking about themselves. I go to other places. We seem to be quite a modest bunch out here. So I'm hoping everyone in South Australia, there's about 1.6 million of us, and we'll all come on board. And it's not about my website so much. It's the concept. If you love South Australia, tell your friends. Then you'll tell your friends interstate. Then you'll tell your friends overseas. And that's how we spread the word. Recently, as you would have realized in the media, there was talk about some places overseas they may not have heard about South Australia. Well, probably because we never talk about it.
And what's the perception of South Australia in India? Because there have been some negative reports, particularly in other states, in relation to Indian students, and we've seen some quite dramatic television coverage over there. What is the general perception from your family and friends' perspective?
Yep. Excellent point, and I'm glad you raised it. So, and this is the reason why we need to talk about positive stories. So I've had friends who've rung me and asked me and said, oh, look, I was thinking about sending my son over there to study in Australia, but seeing all the media things, we're sort of now debating whether we should, send him to UK or somewhere else to study. And they'll ask me questions directly, and I'll go, look, what you're reading is a few incidents, one or two might happen here or there, and they happen in India too. But the thing is, you're focusing on the negative story. Bad things do happen, I accept that. But what about the good things that happen? And that's where people like myself, and there are countless others, what we need to do is, we need to share our positive stories. So we can actually say, hey guys, there are blots on the moon, but it's still a beautiful looking moon, so as to speak. Pardon my analogy. But
no, it's lovely. It's 4:13 on 891 Drive with Michael Smyth. We're talking to PK Gupta, who set up this website, ilovesouthaustralia.com.au. PK, stay with us. Let's bring in here Nigel McBride, who's the newly installed CEO at Business SA, and of course previously the chairman of SA Great Advantage SA. Nigel, welcome to you.
Thanks, Michael.
What do you think of PK's initiative here?
Oh, fantastic. Look, there's nothing like a heartfelt grassroots appeal to fellow South Australians to get proud of the place you're in. We shouldn't rely on just government to do that. That's not the job of government. It's the job of every South Australian to be proud of their state. I think it's wonderful that PK has obviously come here and has found this to be the sort of place that he's describing. Look, we found the same thing. When I was chair of what was then SA Great, we used to fly in, and they still do fly in, interstate journalists. And if we get people here, they get it. Hard-nosed Sydney, Melbourne, and overseas journalists who came to South Australia under a program that Advantage SA still runs just can't believe it. They just cannot believe they hadn't been, most of them, before. They had no particular reason for coming, and that's what PK is saying. We've got to put a lot more profile out there. But when they get here, they just love it. I would say this, though. They're here for a weekend. They have a wonderful time, go back, and they're forever changed. What we've got to do when people come here is say that there's not only a wonderful place to live, but there's a job and there's a future for your kids. And I think that's where we've got to get confidence back into the local economy.
When you were at SA Great Advantage SA, the Heaps Good campaign got underway. I guess that's a similar way of sort of this grassroots expression, not quite in the simplistic form that PK has set up, which is very much derived from his own personal story, but it's that opportunity to share amongst ourselves as well as spreading the message interstate.
Absolutely. Look, Heaps Good was all about getting into this social media space. It's a tremendous strategy, especially with kind of GenY.com. It's been enormously successful. People really own that site, send in photos from all over the world. It's been enormously good. But as far as I'm concerned, you can't have enough, whether it's PK from the heart or Heaps Good through Advantage SA. I just think it's fantastic that people are getting out there and they're being responsible for populating these sites. PK is absolutely right. We are the most modest state in mainland Australia. We've got so much more to be discovered. When I first came here from Perth, 13 years ago now, you got the feeling people in Adelaide didn't want to be discovered. Let's keep it a secret. The fact is the secret's out. It's out all over the world. But the great thing about having grassroots things like this is that it just reminds us that, okay, there's some tough conditions out there right now, but we are living the dream. I mean, most of the world's population would give their right arm to live in South Australia. We globally are just so much in that top few couple of percent, maybe a percentage of a percent of lifestyle quality and we've got a huge future available. But once again, South Australians have got to get out there and make it happen. So buy local. When I was with Advantage SA, we had heaps good, but we also had buy local, because you can't have heaps good without having buy local.
We're talking to Nigel McBride, the CEO of Business SA, formerly the chairman of SA Great, Advantage SA, and also with us today, PK Gupta, who's the founder of this website, ilovesouthaustralia.com.au. Getting lots of feedback on our text line here. A thought from the tractor: the Riverland is often a forgotten part of the state. We have a wide river to ski on, fresh fruit, great wine, and lovely towns all close by. Another one says, I love the fact that we have a container deposit scheme while the other states have failed. Let's go to Andy now at Golden Grove. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Michael. Hello, PK. I've been here since I was a little child. My parents migrated here from England in 1962 or something like that. So I've been here all my life, and I'm grateful every day that my folks came here. But my little way of advertising, I'm a Luddite, so I don't go on computers. But when I ring up to pay bills, etc., and you always get put through to somebody in the Philippines or Mumbai or somewhere like that, and I always ask where they are and what is it like, and then I go on and give South Australia a really good rap. and I'll tell you what, without doubt, every one of them thanks me and says South Australia sounds like one guy I was talking to was planning on going to Perth. And I said, oh no, just fly straight over the top of Perth. I said, and come to Adelaide. I said, and you won't leave the place. And there's PK comes on there, and he's, that's what happens.
Andy, thank you for your thoughts. PK, you're not the only one who's obviously made a terrific life for themselves in this state and is extremely generous for the opportunity. So you'd really encourage others to share their stories with you on the website.
Yes.
And in terms of some of the other feedback that you've had about why this is such a good place, what have other people had to say?
What the other people are saying is, look, if from a business perspective, I mean, I have been working all this time as well. It's a great place because it's actually central to Australia. So some of the head offices have realized that it's actually better to position someone in Adelaide from where they can fly to Queensland, Northern Territory, WA, or Victoria and even Tassie, rather than have them sitting in Sydney, and from there they have a longer flight. So from a business perspective, South Australia is actually a great location when it comes to people. So I have to travel. So for me, central location is fantastic, and that's what like-minded individuals are telling me as well.
PK, thank you for sharing your story this afternoon, and well done on this sort of grassroots campaign, making us realise what we've got in our own backyard.
Thank you, and it's all about us people and I Love SA.
PK Gupta, the founder of ilovesouthaustralia.com.au. Thanks also very much indeed to Nigel McBride, the CEO of Business SA. You can keep sending your texts through on what you